Right, welcome to the joys of hotel quarantine. This place sucks, by the way. But I wanted to carry on making videos, so I just finished up 9 months, or my first 9 months, as a digital nomad, as much as I hate that term. Somebody that lives and works remotely. Let's call it that. I made a few mistakes, or at least there are things that have been really annoying, and I thought I'd make a video about it. Hopefully it's useful for anybody that might be looking to live and work remotely, or it could be useful for somebody that's currently doing that. So I'll start off with before you leave, when you get there, and then normal day-to-day life. So first of all, electronics and chargers have been the biggest pain for me out of everything. I'll give you some examples. So that's what you get with a MacBook, normal Apple stuff if you're a Mac user. Really heavy, and if you use it with one of these, which is like a all international adapter, these are crap as well. You put it in and the socket's not really snug, it tends to fall out. So you end up just having to stack like things to keep it up. Really, really annoying. Plus, it's just extra weight because then you've got all of your other chargers for your phones. Just buy one of these. It's an Anker power strip. Now, I actually put all of these things on the subculture that is Reddit and had a lot of comments of people going, "You're such a noob, just buy a power strip." And I'd tried these before, but they never really charged my laptop. They charged it incredibly slowly, or they didn't charge it at all. This one does, so I lose that, plug it in there, and then I have 3 other USB, albeit old USB charging sockets to use, and then that's really light, so that saves me loads of space. That's probably the best thing I've bought for traveling and working. And then if you are in the UK, get rid of this as quickly as possible, i.e. chargers and plugs with the 3 sockets. No other country uses these. I mean, I'm sure there are other countries, but most countries use these or these things, the classic 2. What I did with the Anker is that I bought it with the European plug. That not only allows me to just use it directly in the socket, but if I have an adapter or you buy one of these, buying them for that, let me explain this. I was in Central America. I needed one of these for that, and you couldn't find them for love or money. You could find them for these and the American ones, but not for the 3-pronged. So just get rid of them. So when it comes to these, buy multiple, or at least if you're like me, buy multiple, because I lost so many of these because you'll have it plugged in, you'll be in a rush, it'll be down by your feet, you'll grab the adapter, like that, grab it, this will stay in the socket, and if you do, you have to buy one of these things, and these are just terrible, because they just never stay in. Right in the plums. They just buy a few of these. Other things, electronics wise, power bank, these are fairly standard. Will charge your phone 4 to 5 times. Really good for long haul flights and bus journeys and long journeys. Then the other one was, I actually carried around a second laptop the whole way. And 5 months in, I thought I'm going to have carried around a laptop all this time and never needed it. Until my brand new MacBook died. Just didn't turn on. And I had projects to deliver, and luckily I had my backup, and it took a month to get that fixed. Ideally I'd have like a really thin iPad Pro, but I don't have one. Luckily I had a backup. Not everybody has a second laptop. If you do, you know, it's a thought, take it with you. So electronics, I don't know, they've always been painful for me. So you're going to want to obviously book a place to stay. Now, when I first went, I booked a place for 2 months because I got a really good rate, and that's the attraction of booking a month or two before you arrive. And it means that you don't have the problem of, availability not being there if it's a really popular place. I have now changed to my preferences to book, a few days, maybe a week at a place, and then either extending if I like it, or if it's not what I was expecting, then moving elsewhere. Because believe it or not, places put the best pictures or they embellish the truth about the rooms or the internet or whatever it might be on places like booking.com. So you can arrive and it will be very different to what you thought you were going to get. So I like that flexibility now. I like to go, I'm going to turn up and then I'm going to explore and make sure that I'm in the right location, it's got good internet, I like the room, before I then commit to, a month or two, whatever that might be. It might be that, the place that I'm staying 2 hours down the coast is better, so I want to be able to move. Okay, so electronics, you've booked a place, you've turned up. I would book 2 weeks or a week, at least a portion of time off work, especially if it's your first, jaunt off. I also do it when I'm moving countries now, because when you arrive in a place, there's always so much to see, so many things to do, people to meet, and if you have to be at work on the Monday or at work the next day, then I don't know, it sort of tarnishes it. And it also, that time also gives you the ability to get it out of your system, as they say. And I think that's important. So you've arrived, you've had your time off. This one was something that I wasn't really expecting. So to provide some context, I had a 3 to 5 year plan in order to be able to leave London and work remotely. And for most people, there's either a risk involved in doing this, or you'll have made some big decisions to be able to do this. The result is that you turn up, in my case, to the Dominican Republic. I was, a few minutes walk from a Caribbean beach, and I guess I felt a bit chuffed with myself, self-congratulatory. And this one, when I wrote the article about it, got quite a lot of positive comments, in that you need to, or at least I needed to, get over myself. So this tip is just get over yourself. You would be surprised. There are thousands of people doing this. You're not special. You've made some big decisions and you've taken a risk to do it, but you're not unique. Get over yourself. That's all I need to say on it. It sort of blends into my next few points. So when I started this, my view was that I wanted to work a normal 9 to 5 job. I just want to be able to surf in the morning and have stuff to do in hopefully a tropical environment on the weekends. Fairly simple. That became harder than I thought. So the tip is, don't underestimate the power of having structure and routine and focus for work, because it sounds really simplistic, especially like sitting here in London, when most people in the city have natural structure to their day. So they have to be at work at a certain time, they leave work at a certain time, they might go to the gym, they have their evening routine. When you are traveling and working, that stuff sort of evaporates. It just vanishes into thin air. There's always something to do, somewhere to explore. You're in a new place, and it becomes very difficult. So I had to get over myself and stick to a 9 to 5 day, and that was harder than I thought it would be. Again, a lot harder than I thought it would be. Actually, paying for a co-working space was the best thing I did, because I can work in a cafe, but I can only work in a cafe for 2 hours, and I usually wouldn't do that much work. I can work in my room if I have a desk, but again, you're in your room, it doesn't feel quite right, and you're not as productive. Whereas a co-working space, you're surrounded by people that are also working. So I like that environment. It just means that, this isn't a place to do anything else but work. Yeah, it's a workplace. Who would have known it? An office environment was something that I needed. But yeah, routine and structure are important. And that, in sequence, leads on to the final point. And this got a lot of positive stuff, about the same amount as get over yourself. I think I phrased it as work makes everything better. And that might sound really paradoxical because, let's face it, the majority of people don't like work. That's why somebody has to pay them to do it. I don't hate my job, far from it. I actually like my job, but don't get me wrong, I'd rather be surfing. Or I'd rather be doing something else most of the time. So you have to fight against that, or at least life as a digital nomad can't always be, rainbows, farts and giggles, because that just becomes your normal. And it just blends, it just sort of all blends together. So I was, working most days, including weekends, but smaller amounts. And each day was almost like Groundhog Day. It was a bit strange. And then the first week where I put in like a really hard week of work, I remember leaving the co-working space and I was like, oh, it really feels like Friday. So I think that you need to chase that Friday feeling, because the work gives you the perspective of enjoying, your free time. So chase that Friday feeling, and that now sounds really corny now that I've said it, but it's true. Work puts things in perspective and it makes things better. I can't believe I said that, but it does. So yeah, as I said, I am by no means an oracle when it comes to these things. This is just, mainly the mistakes that I've made over the last 9 months. And hopefully I will continue to improve them. On the off chance that you're watching this and you have, mistakes that you've made or things that you think that people should know, let me know. I'll probably do a year update, as in an update after a year, so in 3 months' time, depending on whether I've made any more mistakes, probably. Until then, I am just going to sit here in my hotel quarantine.